So for the interest of everyone, if you are asking a type of question right now, please also think about all the other ones from the world. So ask something that might be useful for everyone, not just for yourself, because as you know, you help others, you also help yourself in a way.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Andrea. I'm from Naples and Italy. My question is, would you say that contraction, in the intention there is contraction? Would you contract the muscles when you use the word intention? For example, when I'm pushing when I'm doing that, do you put also contraction or just visualization?
Good. It's good that you ask. For right now, if your level of, I just name it directly like this, if your level of internal power is not developed, okay? If your internal power is not developed, you need to use muscle contraction to substitute it. Yeah, so that means, let's just imagine you are telling someone, don't contract the muscles, just use your internal power, just use your energy to push away the opponent. Forget it, yeah? If you want to push somebody away, you need, number one, you need a proper structure. And then also you need some of the muscles and some of the tendons that are going to support this structure in order to generate a force between the opponent and the earth, and you are in between to push that person away. But at the same time, this is just the beginning, which means everybody starts in this way. First of all, you just need to learn how to properly make use of your physical body. Yeah? And it's very nice, and thank you very much for this question, because during this time, when also Grandmaster Zhang Yushan was here and Master Yap Bo was here, if you have time, I just recently uploaded a tea talk where you see Master Zhang Yushan and Master Yap Bo Hong, they are exchanging some ideas about internal styles, internal aspects, yeah. And there you can also very clearly hear at the end, they all have right now these type of internal powers, but because in the past they also know, and I said it, they know the hard training. Yeah, so just because nowadays to practice internal styles has become it has become accessible, let's say like this. There are many very high-skilled practitioners, Tai Chi Chuan practitioners, for example, Wing Chun practitioners also. Meanwhile, at the world, they have very, very good and very, very high levels of what we call internal power. And this is what they are offering nowadays to, for example, also the majority of all the people in this world. And it is quite incredible what you can do with this type of internal power. Yeah, it looks unreal. It looks like it's very much fake. Yeah, when people like suddenly start to move their body and suddenly start to, I don't know, like get pushed away, but you don't see, okay, but where was the push? And the thing is, this is something that those masters are able to generate, which is called internal power. And when you have reached this type of internal power, then there is not much muscle contraction anymore. Why? Because they have exchanged the usage of external power. The external power starts to, I don't know, it's not in the foreground anymore. You are always merging your internal power together with a strong body. But for many of us, and I really think if I look into our round at the moment, don't focus on energy. Don't focus on energy. You're gonna get to the energy in the moment where your body becomes strong, where your bones become strong, and where your physical strength has increased. So stop, don't focus too much on energy. It's gonna come, but not in the beginning. It's gonna come as a process because you have already started to know your body, you have investigated your body, you have used your body, you know your body. Yes, and that's why after you have spent so much time with the body, then something else starts to open. But you can't open it before you have spent enough time with yourself, with the body. Yeah, so maybe that's why your question was very good. And the answer is, yeah, in the beginning, the muscles are contracted when you use intention, but later on, it's not contracted anymore. So both answers are correct in a way like this, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, any other question?
I wrote a question for you. Could you please check?
Okay, can you maybe just read it out or just ask it again so other people can also maybe...
I get very confused with the left and right sides in the movements. Do you have any suggestions?
Yes, you need to train and condition, and you need to learn to mirror the teacher. You need to learn how to mirror the teacher. Yeah, what does it mean? It means, just imagine you are really standing in front of a class, so not like in Zoom. So that means normally the teacher is also facing you like this. So the way how I normally teach my disciples over here is, if I lift the left arm, they also lift the left arm. So you need to, I don't know, you need to reverse it in your mind. You need to make very clear for you, okay, this is left, so left. This is right, so right. You just need to learn about what is left and what is right. So if I make like this, left, then you already know, okay, this is the left side, yeah, it's this. If I make so, it's the other one. And then step by step, you're gonna get there. So because, if I lift the left leg, so, then you already know it's left. And if I make that, okay, left leg, right arm. Left leg, left arm. Right leg, left arm. Yes, yeah, and this is really the way how to also learn. Because right now, because it is Zoom, and because I know that especially in the Western cultures, it's easier for you to access things by giving you explanations, and talking to you all the time. Yeah, but the thing is, here in the monastery, I don't talk at all. Yeah, I normally don't talk. Yeah, the lesson, it's quiet, and you better watch carefully. So I'm just standing in the front. I make my movements. Yeah, I make my movements. Yeah. And then it's absolutely up to you. What can you read out from this? Yeah, what can you see? Some people say, okay, he's just stretching his arms. Yeah, but other people also see, yeah, but I'm also pushing on the toes. Then other people say, okay, how is he breathing? It's different. And the more, let's say, the more detailed you start to become when you are observing someone, or not someone, but also your surrounding. The more detailed you become, the more information comes. Yeah, and so this is also what means, okay, when I make a movement, beyond the stuff that I tell you, yeah, when I tell you, okay, inhale, exhale, yeah, but what else do you see in this video? What else do you see? And that's why it's different from person to person. How is like the development of an individual? Because I really think it depends very much on your ability of how good of an observer you are. How good can you observe? and let's say imitate and learn from the person who try to share something with you. Sometimes it's not the words that is like the valuable thing. Sometimes it's the unspoken things which also have a lot of value. So your job is it also to investigate and look very deeply and look very clearly what everything you see, and then integrate it into your own practice. No, this is the same like, yeah, I can tell you actually, for example, now like when the different teachers were here, for example, yeah, Grandmaster Jiang Yushan, or for example Master Bo, of course they are having like sessions where they are teaching something, where they are saying something, yeah, where it's apparent that at the moment it's like a teaching lesson. But the more interesting situations, and all the situations where it's like really different to learn something, is always the normal moments. The normal moments when they are not officially teaching. And then you can observe them. How are they, for example, reacting to different situations, like to normal everyday situations? You just observe how is their behavior, how do they cope and handle things. Yeah, and that was the reason why in the last 4 weeks now I was really super busy. Yeah, mostly from like 8 o'clock in the morning until 11 in the evening. I was more or less busy, always like hanging around somewhere around the masters. Because even if I'm so long in this field of like the martial art already, but like it's something very special, you know, when you have finally somebody again that you where you can observe, where you know there is something very, very special about there, but you still don't know what it is. So that's why you're only there to observe and just to follow and watch, yeah, and see, what can you discover, yeah? And that's the thing. It's not necessarily always the person who like looks like a teacher or calls himself a teacher that you can learn something from. It very much depends on your ability to observe. And this is why we say, yeah, don't forget. Remind yourself from time to time to put yourself back in the student position, because only students learn. If you think you have reached the peak already, no. Then there's only one direction where it will go, and this is probably not what we want. Yeah, okay, so I mean that was maybe a big answer now to your question, but it's learn to really observe, train to observe, train to better observe, and directly when I make like this, okay, that is his left hand, right hand, left, right. I just that it becomes quick here, and then it becomes better, because already, yeah, yes. Okay, then maybe, yeah, let's make one more question, if anybody has one.
Can I ask a question? It's still V Black from London. You know, during the sequence that you just taught, when we exhale, do we exhale through the mouth as well as through the nose? Or it has to be the nose? I felt that when I exhale, I have to go, let it come out. And, you know, I have to exhale what's in my lung out. Is that normal?
If we are practicing this sequence for our health, then we keep our mouth closed. You inhale through the nose and you exhale through the nose, which automatically means that the exhalation can't be so powerful that it presses the air out of your lungs. Yeah, so that means if you make this sequence right now in, I call it, if you make it in a soft way or in a Chi Gong style, okay, then it's really... Yeah, the mouth is closed, and it's no problem at all to just inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. And because the air is not, let's say, leaving your mouth so quickly, then also now comes something very important. Some of you that are here a few more months, you will appreciate it. The ones that are just joining for the first months, it doesn't make sense in the beginning, but will make sense one day. When you are doing the inhalation and when you are doing the exhalation, you put the tongue on the roof of the mouth and close the mouth. This is important when you are doing this type of sequences for health and energy circulating purposes. Let's call it like this. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose with the tongue on top of the mouth. And for the martial art practitioners who still want to use this type of movements because they want to find out, okay, is it also applicable? Well, there, if you are exhaling, you open the mouth. You open the mouth. But then, of course, also, yeah, you also really push very hard. So it's like you bring out the power, but not for health purposes, only for the martial art purposes.
Thank you, Shifu.
Yeah, but now you also see, so what's the difference between Kung Fu and Qigong? I don't know. There is not much a difference. You cannot make Kung Fu without Qigong. It's just not possible to make like proper Kung Fu if you do not possess a certain level of internal abilities, or let's call it breathing abilities, of knowing how to regulate your breath, inhale and exhale. It's very difficult without this. Good.
Master Shi Heng Yi.
Yes, final question now, but really.
Okay.
Yes.
Could I please have some guidance on trying to find the balance between wanting to train as much as I can, or train very hard, and then also taking time for myself, and maybe not going so hard on myself, but then also trying to push myself to train really hard. I'm having a hard time finding that balance.
So, I can tell you, let's say from my personal training, when I do training, this is the time for myself. I don't do the training for anybody else. Training time, this is my time. Yeah, so that is the first thing. So when I do the training, when I have some dedicated minutes or even hours during the day, and I'm gonna say, okay, now I'm gonna make some training, I already know that this is going to be for me. And now the question is, and what about you? Do you want to now develop? What about you do you want to develop? And then now there's the question, what type of methods do you have available? So what type of practices do you have available? Because all practices are developing something. Yeah. If I feel like, okay, I need to get rid of a lot of let's say stagnation, if I have something which I feel like is locked inside of me and I definitely want to get rid of it, well then, meanwhile, it's a very good practice, for example here, to hit the back. Then I have some training or workout where I just hit the back and get rid of a lot of emotions and a lot of things that are sitting there inside just by hitting the back. And afterwards, I feel relieved. Very nice. Yeah. On the other side, sometimes I feel like, okay, somehow my body feels like he needs more oxygen. Yeah. I feel like, okay, it's like I feel empty a little bit. Well, it doesn't happen so often, but from time to time, I feel like I could fill myself up more. Yeah, and then I know, okay, this is a type of training section now where I'm going to make a lot of Qigong or a lot of exercises in order to nourish my energy, to build up the energy. Sometimes you know, okay, tomorrow you're going to have something very important to do where you need to be focused. You need to learn to be focused, to not drift away because it's maybe something important, an important meeting that you have tomorrow. So when I know I'm going to have something coming up where I need my focus, where I need my focus more than I need it on an average basis, let's say like this, then I also prepare myself. Then before this session comes up, I do all types of exercises in order to really force myself that the focus comes out. Yeah, and then when this day comes, I know, okay, now the focus is there. Nothing's going to break it on that day. So this is the great part. This is like what is really for me like the valuable thing about this type of martial art practices that you can still use for all different types of areas that you find in your average daily life. You want more focus? Okay, you can train focus. You want more, you want to increase the ability to take more pain? No problem, you can learn practices to take more pain. No matter what it is. You want to learn that you have a soft body, release, relax, get rid of all the tension, yeah, problems in the neck, problems in the back, okay. Also practices for that. Because after all these different arts, all these different methods, you can fight with them, but that's not the only purpose. I just say it once again, for the majority of every one of you who is joining this course, I really think the emphasis is most probably not the fighting. But it's still there. It's still inside these things. It's just not the effect or the results or the benefits are just not limited only to the fighting aspect. But at the same time also now to tell you, because we're at this topic, yeah, this is like my final sentence right now. Look, the core of the Shaolin Temple, the core also of our organization is a Buddhist monastery after all. In the core, it is the Buddhist monastery. So for the ones who say, okay, I don't know anything about Buddhism, what is Buddhism about? So Buddhism is about, you have a limited lifetime right now, make the best out of it. So that is like simplified Buddhism. Okay, we don't have a God in there, we don't have anything to believe in there. The message is, what is Buddhism about? Use the limited lifetime that you have right now and make the best out of it. So, but at the same time, also, we have integrated inside this monastery the so-called Shaolin arts, which means it is all the knowledge which comes, for example, from the traditional Chinese medicine to strengthen your body and also to strengthen the mind. But why to strengthen the mind? Yeah, because in the Buddhist teaching, for example, if you like study Buddhism, one of the first sentences that you are going to read in the Buddhist teachings is, with our thoughts we create the world. So this is what like is supposed to be a sentence from the Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who is nowadays known as the Buddha. With our thoughts we create the world. So what does it mean? It means the solution for your life, the solution for the good life is just put the thoughts onto your mind that you want to have there. Yeah, but now comes the reality. The reality is you can't. Because it is more simply said than it is done. Because you cannot choose what is popping up as a thought on the mind. Because it's not your choice very often what is popping up there, because it is something that you are maybe being influenced by the surroundings, that maybe another person has implemented it into your mind. Sometimes it is not your thoughts or not your own will which makes these thoughts come up. And why? Yeah, like I said, one thing is external circumstances, external influences, and second of all, because the mind is not strong enough. Because the mind is not strong enough to focus and to commit and to stay with something. And this is why right now it's so good to sometimes have this type of martial art training, because this position that we did today, just stay 10 minutes. Yeah, just stay 10 minutes. So, and yeah, some of you already know I'm not gonna make it 10 minutes. Right now, I'm sure you're not gonna make it. The difference is, but it's possible to make it. But in order to make it possible, something about you has to change. At the moment, you can't do it. But I'm telling you, but it's possible. Not just 10 minutes, half an hour is possible. 1 hour is possible. But in order to reach this type of level, something about you must change. So, and what is it that needs to change? It is something about your mind. It is something how you are regarding suffering and pain and something uncomfortable, how you are regarding this for your own life. You are starting to put these things just into the right perspective. Yeah? And we want to live a good life after all. That's what for me is why I share all of these things. Yeah? And I don't like, and it's not my way to teach or share all of these things and spread any type of religion. That's why very often I tell you, even if I live inside of this Buddhist monastery, but yeah, the Buddha was not a Buddhist. Yeah, Buddhism is named after him, so you just ask yourself, so what did the Buddha do? Yeah, okay. So, which means for me, it's like, it's about the human after all. We want to have a good life, and in order to be able to create this good life, there are some hindrances that I can see also on myself and that I can see in all the people around me. It's the same with everyone. And one of the biggest hindrances and problems that we have is that it's difficult nowadays that if you tell to yourself, stay there, that you stay there. Because sometimes, and this is why it's called monkey mind. Why do you have to learn to get rid of the monkey mind? Because the monkey always jumps from one branch to another. Bang, 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 yeah? Because he's bored, or I don't know what he has. He is too nervous. He can't stand still. This is the monkey mind. The mind can't stand still. He keeps on moving, moving, moving. So, and therefore we need to find a method. We need to find a way. For some people, it's called sitting meditation, to find that peace. And for other people, it's the discipline of the mind that arises from the hard and difficult training sometimes, coming inside this field of martial arts. For example, just by standing 10 minutes in a position where you already know, okay, this is gonna be, it's gonna be exhausting, and it's gonna be painful, and it's gonna feel like your legs are going to explode. Yeah, but the message is like this: nothing's gonna explode. it's not going to explode. It feels like exploding, but the truth is nothing is exploding. The only thing that is going to break free is the limitation that you are putting on yourself. The limitation that you think, oh, my leg are gonna explode, I can't do it. After 10 minutes, after 15 minutes, after something like this type of practice, like becomes normal to you, what does it mean? It means you have reached or you have broken a type of limit that many other people still live in. Sometimes it's necessary to face the pain. Buddhism is a way to overcome the suffering. Buddhism is a way to end the suffering. Yeah, there are many ways how you can approach it to end the suffering. And sometimes inside the field of martial arts, you suffer one time and then the same type of suffering is not coming for you again in this lifetime. This is also maybe one of the big differences what is like, let's say, the Shaolin way and maybe other ways of Buddhist teaching. Because over here we have Buddhist teaching, Zen Buddhism, and the martial arts. Yeah? The Chan and the Wu. Chan Wu. Meditation, Buddhism, or Chan, and the martial arts. And in the Shaolin temple, it's called Chan Wu Yi. Chan and Wu are one. Chan Wu Yi. This is the, let's say, that is the way of the Shaolin. That you are facing the suffering. You don't run away from the suffering. You don't try to find ways around the suffering. No, you go through the suffering. That's why you overcome it. That is the difference. But in order to have this type of attitude, to feel confident to face whatever comes there, it helps to have a strong mind. And how do you get a strong mind? By developing a strong body. Strong mind, strong body, strong discipline, strong willpower, and then your ability is there to overcome the suffering. Because you just face it. You don't run away from it. That is very specific right now for the Shaolin way. That's why I have to say it's not an easy way. It's not an easy way, but it is a way. Yes. So, okay, I hope I didn't shock you all, but I think it was necessary to really say it a little bit clear that you all know what is this way of why I call it self-mastery, this course. Because that's what it is about. Yeah? Be strong. You be strong. Every one of you, be strong. You need to be strong. Not your neighbor needs to be strong. You need to be strong. Self-strong, self-mastery. That's why it's called. So, okay, in that sense, enjoy your Sunday and see you all soon again.